Okay, number one. Here's the problem. You buy a car for $20,000 new. 6 years later, it's now worth $10,000, let's say. And I'm making this up, but it's the same idea, okay? Different numbers, but the same idea. All right, so look here. The first thing you have to do, and it says find the depreciation rate. Oh, it tells you that. So depreciation is, say, 8.5%. Is what they're saying. Okay, now here's how you do this. You're going to take your slope, and you got to get 2 points to figure out slope. So the first point is going to be brand new at 0 years, but it's going to be $20,000, which I can't fit in there. And then after 6 years, X is going to be 6, and now it's worth 10,000. So you got to figure out your slope. Remember, y equals mx plus b. Okay? So we need this slope. And the y-intercept here is where it starts, because it's going to go down. It's depreciation. So your slope is a negative. Going down, you're losing money. So you're going to take the difference of these two. So you're going to take either way you want to go. You were taught how to go backwards, so I guess we'll go backwards. So $10,000 minus $20,000, and then 6 minus 0. So when you do that, you're going to get 10,000 divided by 6. And actually, that's a negative 10,000, which it should be, because it's depreciation, it's going down. So let me just see what that is. 10,000 divided by 6. So on this one, I get y equals a negative 1666.7x plus y. And y is where it started. That's the y-intercept. So it started at 20,000. Just like that. There it is. So the way you figure this out is you substitute year 6 in here. And you're going to get y equals something. So you're going to multiply this, and this one might require a little bit of work, and then plus that. Let's just see what that is, just for the heck of it. So times 6, and I'm going to put a negative in front of that, so it's decreasing, and then plus 20,000. And I just made up these numbers. So I get $10,000. Now here's the catcher. It does work, okay? But the depreciation rate for this one, let me see what it is. It's going to be true for this one, okay? I don't think it's going to change on you. So put true for this one. And we'll come back to it because this is a lot of work and I want to go back over it. But for right now, all you need to know is it's true, okay? Because I don't expect it to change. All right, number 2. She borrowed $12,000 for a car. So put borrow. $12,000 for a car for 6 years. So her loan is 6 years. And the rate is going to be, I'm going to say 7%, and I'm changing that up. Okay? Question is the monthly payment. So find monthly payment. How much does she pay a month? So here's how you figure it out. Put interest equals principal times rate times time. Okay? So the principal is $12,000. The rate is 0.07 because you got to move it 2 places. The time is 6 years. So you're going to multiply by 6. But here they want the monthly payment. How much do you pay a month? Okay? So here's how you figure it out. You got to multiply these 3, which I'll do for you. 12,000 times 0.07 times 6 years. So over the course of 6 years, you're going to pay $5,040 back. But they don't want to know the total payback. They want to know monthly. So you got to divide that by how many months. Well, 6 times 12 is 72. So I'm going to divide by 72. When I do that, it's going to be $70 a month interest. Plus, you got to pay back the $12,000. So you got to divide 12,000 divided by 72 and then add that. So 12,000 divided by 72. So this person's paying back $166, let's say, plus $70 every month. So it looks like $2,360 or $236. That's how much they're paying every month. Write that down and think about what I'm saying. You got to figure out how much interest is charged over 6 years, and you got to divide it because they want the monthly amount. Then you got to take whatever money you borrow, in this case $12,000, and you got to divide by how many months. Then you got to add them up. That's how much your monthly payment is. Any questions on that? Okay, so that one required a lot of work, just like the first one, but they're not all like that. Like number 3. Here's number 3. It's easier than all of this stuff. All right, so number 3. And by the way, I already found a mistake on it, so I will curve it. I'll look at the highest grade and go from there. So look here, number 3. The fee that a driver pays for automobile insurance is called a deductible. So when you buy car insurance, what is it called? Anybody know? Is it called a deductible? What's it called? A deductible is like if you get in a car crash and you got to pay your deductible, okay? But when you take out car insurance, it's called a premium. So write that down, premium. It's not a deductible. So this one would be false. Okay? I'm going to say it again. When you buy car insurance, it's called a deductible. No, it's not. It's called a premium. So that would be false. Is everybody clear what I'm saying? Okay? A deductible is like if you got to get your car fixed, then you got to pay it something deductible, depending on what you agreed to. All right, number 4. All right, so this one right here, they have a cottage, okay, and they rent it out. The monthly mortgage on it, because they're still paying on it, they got to pay $1,750. But when they rent it out, they make 70% of the mortgage. Write that down. When they rent it out, they don't get the whole thing, but they get something. Okay, they don't get the whole 17. they get 70% of that. Now here's the question. How much do they earn in 6 months? How much money do they earn in 6 months? So here's how you do it. You take the 1750 times 0.7. That's going to tell you how much they make in 1 month. So I take my calculator and I take 1750 times 0.7. When I do that, they make $12.25. They don't make the whole amount, but at least they don't have to pay the whole amount. See, if it's empty, they got to pay the whole $17.50. But at least they get most of it. But that's for 1 month. So to get 6 months, of course, you'd have to multiply by 6. Is everybody clear on what I'm saying? Any questions on how to do that problem? Pretty straightforward. All right, let's go on. Number 5. Put a star by this premium here. Okay, so you don't forget that. That's an easy one. Number 5. All right, here's how this works. You have a meter reading, and it started with 120,000. They call it CCS, which means for every 100. Now, you had somebody in there, and now it's reading 127,394 CCS. They charge you 25 cents on every 1 CCF. Question is, how much? Anybody can tell me how to figure out how much you got to pay for that month? You got to subtract to figure out how much you used. So you're going to take 127,394, watch. 127,394 minus 120, which is what we started with, equals that. So you use that much times 0.25, whatever they charge you. Who knows? So for that month, you're looking at $18.48, which is crazy expensive. That's a lot. Any questions on that? Okay, you subtract and you multiply by how much it is for each one. All right, number 6. Listen carefully. Property liability pays for injuries. That's a true or false. So put number 6. Property liability pays for injuries. Is that true? Property liabilities. Does that pay for injuries? No. That pays for property damage. So this would be false. Number 7. Interest compounded semi-annually. So put semi-annually. What does that mean? Is that 4 times a year? Is it 2 times a year? What is semi-annually? Anybody know? Is it every month? Semi-annually. It's what? It's twice. You're going to pay it 2 times. It's not 4 times. It's 2 times a year. Like my homeowner's insurance. Okay? I could pay it half in the middle and then the rest at the end. Semi-annually is twice. Is everybody clear? It's not 4 times. That would be quarterly. Quarterly would be every 3 months. 3, 6, 9, 12. So if you pay every 3 months, that's called quarterly. But semi-annually is twice a year. Don't miss that one. That's an easy one. What is semi-annually? twice a what? Twice a year. All right, let's go on. What number was that? Let's go to number 8. Now here's the question. The federal FDIC, Federal Deposit Insurance Corporation, FDIC, it pays banks a certain amount. So if the bank fails, your money is guaranteed. Like recently, we've had 2 banks fail. Okay? So if the government will cover you $50,000 and the bank fails and you got $50,000, you're okay. You're going to get your money back. The government's going to give it to you. But if you have $60,000 in there, guess what? They're only going to give you $50,000. You should have put your other $10,000 in another bank or something. You understand what I'm saying? All right, so the FDIC does guarantee you. That's true. They do guarantee your money, but it's only to a certain amount. Why does the government guarantee your money in a bank? Anybody know? Because if they didn't guarantee it, people wouldn't put their money in the bank. They'd leave it underneath the mattress or bury it in the backyard or something. Okay? Number 9. The length of a room is 21 feet. The floor plan says 3/4 of an inch is equal to 4 feet. Write that down. They want you to find how many inches on the floor plan. Now you might say, well, what do you mean? And actually, this should have been, this is good. All right, this is okay. All right, because remember, I'm changing it up a little bit. I don't want to give it to you word for word. All right, so look up here. This is your proportion. So it's going to be 0.75 inches, because that's what 3/4 is, right? 3/4 in your pocket is 75 cents, is equal to every 4 feet. That's the ratio. Okay, the scale is that. And here they're telling you 21 feet. Now feet goes on the bottom. So you're going to put 21 on the bottom and you're going to cross multiply. Copy that down. Make sure you understand. James, you need to move up. All right. So now look, all I'm going to do is multiply by 21. So I'm going to take 21 times 0.75 divided by 4. And whatever I get is my answer. So I'm going to do this one. 21 times 0.75 equals, divided by 4 equals, I get 3.93 inches. There it is. That's how you do that one. Any questions on number 9? Yeah. All right, we're good? Let's go to number 10. Number 10. Next page. Now you might say, well, how many questions are there going to be? Well, right now it's 101. I'm going over them with you as best I can. I'm going to curve it. Okay? I'm going to look at all the kids and who did the best. If they missed 5 of them, bam, that's your curve. 5 of them. Okay? All right. So number 10. When considering measures of central tendencies, mean, median, mode, and range, which we did talk about, which you are familiar with, those are called central tendencies. If you have an outlier, that means one way over here and everybody's over here. It's kind of like the kid sitting in the cafeteria all by himself. Okay, everybody's together, and one kid sitting alone. All right. If you do the average, it's not a good choice because this one is going to mess everything up. It's too big. So you don't want to use the average if you have an outlier. You might want to go the median, the one in the middle, where you got to line them up, pick the one in the middle. Everybody understand what I'm saying? All right, so if you have an outlier, don't use the median. I'm sorry, the mean. Don't use the average, because it's going to skew it. Everybody clear on that? It's like I make 70s on all my tests, and all of a sudden I make an A. Something's going on there. Okay? I mean, maybe you did study finally. I don't know. Anyway, it will bring my average way up. Everybody clear on what I'm saying? All right, let's go on. Number 11. I don't know how many I'm going to do today. A box and whisker. So draw this. There's a box, and there's the whiskers. 50% of the data is inside this box. That's true. 50% is the box. So write that down. That's all you need to know. Is everybody clear on that? Real easy. 50%. And then 25, and then 25 makes 100%. Number 12. All right. This person pays the balance, credit card balance in full. And, okay. So put credit card. And you owe, at the end of the month, you have $500 on your credit card that you didn't pay. So you have a choice. You can pay it off and avoid the interest, or you're going to pay some interest, right? Okay, so this person is going to pay, let me see where it's at, 10.5% interest. That's what they charge. Okay, so to figure out how much interest or finance charge, they call it finance charge, I call it interest, you would multiply 500 times 0.105, because you got to move your decimal 2 places. And whatever you get is the finance charge. That's how much more money they're going to add to your bill. So now you're going to owe 500 plus whatever that is. Everybody clear on how to get the finance charge? All right. And some of these credit cards charge 20% interest. All right, so that was number 12. Let's just do a few more. Number 13. An employment agency. Okay, so let's say you want to get a job. You don't know what you want to do. So you go to an employment agency and they say, okay, either you're going to pay for our services or whoever hires you is going to pay. That's the way it works. Okay. Now, the advantage of an employment agency is you don't get stuck in one job. You can work there for 2 weeks and say, not for me. And then the agency will put you somewhere else. And hopefully you find something like, man, I like this, I want to stay here. That's the good thing. Okay? So, here's the question for number 13. Employment agency is always paid by you. Is that true or false? That's false. Because the company might pay for it. Everybody with me? So if you decide to go to an employment agency, ask up front, hey man, who's paying you? And they're going to say, you're paying us. You might be like, I'm going to look for somebody else. Everybody clear on what I'm saying? All right, one more, number 14. I will mark it down because I'm going to stop here. Discretionary expense, and I'm going to spell it. Discretionary. What does discretionary mean? I got my money in the bank. It's an expense. Who can tell me what is discretionary? It's one you don't need. You don't need it, right? It's like, well, I could go to the movies, or I could go out to eat, or I could go ride in the airplane or boat or whatever. I could do a lot of things, but do I need to do it? So can I cut that out? Can I cut out discretionary? My budget? Yeah, I can. So yes, you can eliminate it. You might not be happy. You might have to go walk in the park or get a fishing pole and go fish. Everybody with me? Or watch TV rather than go to the movies. So you can eliminate. All right, we'll stop there. So discretionary, you can eliminate. All right, for the rest of the time, how much time we got? 41, so we don't have too much time, but I'll let you go ahead if you want to do that kind of stuff.